was truly grateful for the people who has given me a helping hand during the period of the time when I need help most. So I truly believe today, if anyone want to change, it's always a possibility.
Welcome to this special episode from the beautiful village of Pai. I am in northern Thailand, not far from Chiang Mai. And today I am at 180 Sanctuary with Tony. How are you, Tony?
I'm good. Thanks, Luca, for coming here.
Very good. Tony is the CEO of this beautiful resort, which is specialized for rehabilitation and mental health. So that's going to be the subject of the talk today. First of all, I'd like to ask you, Tony, what is your journey in life?
My journey is quite interesting, to be honest, colorful as well. I grew up in Singapore, come from a very strict Chinese family. You know, as Asian, being disciplined is quite a common thing. The only problem is my parents are a bit strict and they are a bit quick-tempered, so I get beaten up quite a lot when I was younger. So as a result of that, I become extremely rebellious. So it was hard to manage me or discipline me. And when I got into my teenage year, that's when more problems happened. So I start to dabble in drugs. I start to get into fight. All the mischievous thing you would expect of a teenager, I've done it all. And I didn't manage to complete school. I kind of quit school when I was 16 after my O-level. Yeah, so that's when I stopped studying and I start using drugs quite a lot since. Yeah, and life goes on for quite a while with drug scene, using drugs until 28. Then I decided to turn my life around. And during those periods of using drugs, I was incarcerated twice.
Wow.
Yeah, a total of 3 years because of my drug use.
In Singapore?
In Singapore.
Wow, because they're very strict in Singapore with drugs as well, right?
Don't mess around. Yeah, I think that is the policy of Singapore, is deterrent. So as long as you meddle with drugs, you are going to get punished for it.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. So at 28, there was a pivotal time in your life. What happened at 28 that prompted you to turn yourself around? So
28 was actually the year, it was 2004. I was released from prison, that is my second incarceration after, it's a 3-year sentence. I served 2 years because of good conduct. I was released early. But that 2 years give me a good time to reflect, to think. What am I going to do live after I get out at the age of 28? I think I talked to quite a few inmates who are older than me, significantly older, like in their 50s, 60s, and got me to re-evaluate, reflect my life. And that is when I decided to give myself a chance to turn my life around.
Very good. So you just said, okay, that's enough. I had this history in my life, and from now on, I want to change.
Yeah.
And what did you do then?
I actually went into a halfway house. So what is a halfway house? It's actually a shelter for people who come out from prison and who have a problem with addiction and who have struggled to stay clean. So it's a shelter where there's no drugs, no alcohol. Unfortunately, it's a Christian shelter, so we had to follow all the rules and conditions and, attend Bible class. And that really got me to be surrounded by good people, I would say, who are positive influence. And that 1.5 years got me to change my attitude, my life perspective. And it was also at that 1.5 year I learned to be disciplined. I learned to know what is working life, and as well as the chance to attend night school. So that is really the turning point, I would say.
So you went back to school basically, and what did you study?
I actually studied a diploma in counseling. I studied 2, diploma in counseling and diploma in marketing. Yeah. I thought that maybe I want to go into marketing, you know, I want nothing to do with religious, nothing to do with helping people. So I inspired to be in the society, working like a normal person. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was my journey, and then after that I went on to do a bachelor in marketing and finance. And then I realized I want to be a banker. Yeah. However, I didn't do my homework because I have a criminal record. In Singapore, you can't get a police clearance. If you want to be a banker, you can't do that if you have a criminal record.
Yeah.
So I studied for 3 years, graduated, applied for a banker job. Gosh, it didn't happen.
Not possible, huh?
So that was when I start working in a catering company, you know, because of my background in prison, I could not get a very decent job. So I started from the low end, be a driver, you know, delivering food, even though I have a bachelor degree. But to me, any chance is a good chance. So I grabbed that opportunity, and then I realized I was still not happy with my life. That's when I start going back for night school, in bachelor in psychology. So that's when I start studying, and during this period, I managed to save up so that, you know, I can go to Australia to at least complete half of my study over there.
In Australia?
Yeah, Perth, actually, Curtin University.
Very nice, very nice. And at what stage of your life did you decide to specialize working in rehabilitation centers?
It was actually during my study of the bachelor degree in psychology. I realized that the passion to help people is still within me, because I very much appreciate the help that was given to me when I was changing my life. So I think that was the turning point. So I realized that maybe there's something I want to do. Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing you're saying. And I mean, given your challenging background as a teenager, as a growing up man, and now seeing you here as the CEO of this beautiful place, and it's really a big transformation. Yeah, it's very inspiring actually to hear what you're saying. Yeah?
I think if everyone given a chance, they can excel into the person they want to be. I mean, look at me. I always say, I used to be homeless when I was using drugs. You know, my parents kicked me out of home when I was 21, nothing to do with me. I was living on the street, stealing, to some extent, I even robbed people to feed my addiction. I'm not proud of that. You know, I was truly grateful for the people who has given me a helping hand during the period of the time when I need help most. So I truly believe today, if anyone want to change, it's always a possibility.
It is possible. So there is support. There is people that are there to help. You know, with overcoming addiction. Right?
Yes.
It's something that is possible, and indeed, that's what you also provide here now.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think I started 180 Sanctuary with a group of people who believe in it. We start with a vision that we want a facility that is run by professionals who understand mental health, understand addiction, rather than businessmen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the rehab we see in Asia is run by businessmen. So I worked in two of the main rehab before I started 180 Sanctuary. I could see that a lot of the treatment policy, the treatment program was designed with a direction to be commercialized and to be financially, incentivized. So 180 Sanctuary was started with a vision to provide quality, ethical, and effective treatment.
Yeah.
And what we got here is basically I am running this place. So basically being in the rehab industry for 10 years now, I know what will be the right ingredient to make an effective, treatment program. So 180 Sanctuary was started with that vision. My investor, they were basically silent partner. So they put in the fund to get this place going, and I'm supposed to be responsible for running it. Yeah. So I'm quite blessed and fortunate in the sense that, you know, we got people who believe in this vision.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned to me earlier that you have your own unique approach to helping people with addiction. You say that you can include family members. So can you tell us a little bit more what is the standard kind of approach? If somebody is struggling, is coming to you here, what kind of service do you provide?
Okay, so let me explain to you a bit about rehab industry. So traditional rehab is that you enter into treatment, and you know it's a lockdown facility. They basically take away your phone, your computer, your wallet, your passport. So it's like you go into a luxurious prison. So only you behave, they will give you your phone for using and things like that. So I felt that it's very kind of like, you know, you demoralize a person. So what we are doing is about empowering, so they change their life. So 180 Sanctuary, we started it with a concept that we actually want to be a hybrid between a retreat center and a rehab. You see, most retreat center, they focus on holistic. And most rehab, they focus on psychological work. So 180 Sanctuary will be a hybrid of both, that we have a very strong holistic approach, like we have you know, raw food detox, juice detox, massage, sound healing, you know, meditation. I'm actually a meditation teacher as well.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, and not only that, we also offer very strong psychological treatment. So one of the things we specialize in is actually a few things. Addiction treatment, yeah, but we don't do detox over here. We do just rehabilitation work. Mental health, most, we call it functional mental health. We can treat things like depression, bipolar, anxiety, OCD, burnout. We don't treat schizophrenia.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And then another specialty, which is we are the only center in Asia to do that, is trauma treatment. We have a fully dedicated trauma treatment here that is fully run by psychologists. Yeah, so we have psychologists, we have clinical psychologists to run that program. So in a way, we market ourselves as a specialty in trauma treatment. So now you understand what we do. And what is really unique is that we allow your loved one, let's say the spouse, okay, or the parents or the children, can stay together with the client in treatment, that to give them that family support during their course of treatment, which I don't think any rehab is able to provide that.
Yeah.
What we are also unique here is we have 10 unique pool villa with 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, so that they can live in comfort, live in total privacy, and yet their loved one can go through treatment, so that they don't feel like they are away from their family.
I really like the approach indeed. So you can have your loved ones, and maybe you can do sort of work with them around as well, because.
Yes.
Because indeed that's more like real life as well, having your loved ones around, and rather than just being on your own.
Yes.
And the trauma treatment is extremely important, because indeed, what is the root cause of addiction? I mean, it can be trauma,
Exactly.
It can be...
I would say most mental health or addiction, what triggers them into that state, it has to come from trauma. That is our philosophy of treatment over here. So what many rehab are doing is they are treating the symptom, the problem itself. They are not dealing with the problem. They are treating the what we call surface problem.
Yeah.
Without getting to the root, it's like a cake that is half baked. Nothing
I
gets done.
totally agree. Whilst understanding the psychology of the individual, going back to the original trauma and trying to make the person understand and deal with it, that's extremely valuable, I think. Right?
Yeah. And what we do here is all patients that come here, they also learn neuro-linguistic program.
Oh, very
I'm
nice.
actually a trainer for NLP, so I issue certificates. So why we use NLP in 180 Sanctuary? So NLP is about motivation, it's about regulating your emotions, so you put yourself in a peak state to get the best result, right? So in today's society, we are all about changing, getting result. That's what we are being taught. But very often, without getting into the right state, the emotion, you can't achieve the result. If you look at this, anyone who's going through mental health addiction, why they start going back into their original state of depression or addiction is because they cannot regulate their emotion.
Okay.
So NLP is an excellent tool that helps them to regulate themselves, as well as getting them into that state where they can, deal with their daily stresses. So that is one of the main things we introduce NLP as part of their skill-based training.
I'm also trained in NLP, and I found it extremely useful indeed, very interesting. Of course, in order to be very good at using NLP with yourself and others, you need to practice. I did a course about 5 years ago, and I think I haven't practiced since. But
okay, you can come over here and help us with our client.
I mean, there are many beautiful places in the world, and you chose Pai. Why Pai?
Why Pai? Interesting. Pai has always been very close to my heart. I've been working in Chiang Mai for about 10 years. So very often I will take a break and come to Pai. I like the vibe of Pai because it's laid back. The people here are calm, gentle, friendly, and there's a kind of a group of individuals who are into holistic, into vegan and healthy diet. So I think that's the main thing attract me to Pai. Another thing is Pai is very secluded. It's in the middle between Chiang Mai and Mae Hong Son. So either way it takes 2 hours. Okay. So in a way it's like a safe haven. And that is probably one of the other main things that attract me here. It's very safe, it's in the midst of mountain. We can get to the nature quite easily.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, and there are hot springs, there are waterfall, which is one thing that I think is helpful for the client, because most of our clients come from city, So to be able to be in this nature is something that is very important for their healing. So, and of course we are 180th century. So this Pai is like a sanctuary to our operation here.
I love Pai. It's my second year that I come up to Pai for what we call in Koh Phangan the rainy season. So I come here because the weather is perfect now. And I find Pai very grounding, It's mountain, the air is different. And I really love it as a break from the beach myself. I got this amazing lifestyle that I can do that. But I really recommend people to come and take a look at this wonderful part of Thailand as well.
Yes.
Indeed, the organic food here is fantastic. The hot springs, we've been with my girlfriend and some friends, we've been visiting some of them. It's really awesome. And I agree with you. I mean, if you are struggling with mental health or just you're not very connected with yourself, being in nature, just the healing touch of nature can really help so much. And in this place, I mean, it's a big garden. There's so many plants and beautiful views. So just being here, I feel calm and relaxed and connected with nature itself. Right?
Yeah, I think if you wake up every morning, you're able to look at the mountain, look at the cloud, It's just an amazing part of life.
It's fantastic what you're doing here. It's very interesting indeed. I'm very much into wellness and fasting, holistic therapies, etc. And my uncle was a Catholic priest, and he ran rehabilitation centers all his life. And I remember as a child, he would bring some of his guests or patients, and I have these vivid memories. He did so much, in terms of trying to help people. At the time, of course, there was a big problem with heroin particularly. And I think that, many people were not really saved in a way by him, but the ones that, got better, I mean, he really transformed their lives. And I see how important it is, the work you do, Thank you.
I think what we are doing is probably going to affect many people's life. So one of the things I always tell our team is, take it as a way of, you are an important element in people's life that you are helping them to transform, to change. That's why we are called 180th century. Yeah. We have a U-turn in their life. Yeah.
That's very inspirational. Tony, thank you very much for this little chat, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming here too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.